Hello, everybody. Today, Chandler and I are here to make another tier list for you guys, but this time we are going to do all eight gag tracks in Corporate Clash, and the numbers obviously to represent what's one, what's eight, and so these lighter colors will be mine, and these darker colors will be Chandler's. So let's just get right into it. So first gag track we got is Tune Up. Um, It's hard. I think it's tough between three and four. Probably, mm, probably just four, just based off other gag tracks and Thro's ability to heal. But obviously, tune up is extremely important, especially in those high manager battles. I just think it belongs in four for me, just because I can get my heals from Throw and usually able to easily make up for it with that. Sometimes not even needing tune up. But with that being said, Chandler, what do you have to say?
I'm shocked you put it at four. I'm gonna put it in six, and the only reason I say that is because I have to think about the entire game at hand. In the earlier content, you really don't need it all that much. Prestige throw, I mean that helps, and I know people are gonna argue with me saying, "Well, prestige throw can't substitute for tune-up." I get that. I'm not dumb, but what I'm trying to say is, if you're like in a CFO or VP, the only time you're really gonna need tune-up is if your team is just stupid and makes a bunch of dumb decisions or RNG just screws you over. And just looking at these tracks, the thing I like about this game is that they're all balanced. Like I can't see one that's necessarily trash.
Yep.
And of course, like in the higher manager battles, like they're necessities. But when are you ever doing them? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I'm gonna put it at six. Tune up is an amazing game, but as I said, the balancing is just great in this game, which I know is really hard to do since there's eight tracks in the game.
I can't disagree with you there. That's a good point. I I guess I just like tune up a little bit more, considering you're usually always trapless. I mean tune up less, so it makes sense.
Well, and trackless too.
Yeah. So with that being said, also I forgot to mention I'm just gonna go in order from tune up, trap, lore, throw, squirt, zap, squirt, sound, drop. So we're gonna do
Perfect.
trap, and I am honestly gonna put that at probably number seven. I say that because I don't use it anymore. Like literally before 1.3, I used to use trap. I used to always have trap, but now I'm always trapless, squirtless on my main, and then trapless and something else on my dog. So I don't really use trap anymore. I mean, it's extremely useful in those manager battles, but you're not always fighting those manager battles. More times than not, it's those boss battles, and you can easily accommodate without trap in those. And I mean, I think trap is the most useful in major player once you get to those Hollywoods, the witch hunter when you got those advocates, and sometimes in multi slacker and chainsaw. But otherwise, trap's not exactly very useful in my opinion anymore. And I just think it belongs in seven just because of how much it kind of fell off after 1.3. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good gag. I just don't think it's one of the best at the moment. But Chandler, what do you have to say?
Where do you think I'm gonna put it? If you know me,
I think either seven or eight, considering you're always trapless anyway.
the problem I have with trap is that it's too situational. Like I feel like drop and trap are both situational, but if I had to pick one to choose, it would be drop because the potential is massive. And obviously trap like major player, that's great. But just the dependency on lure, like every if everyone was lureless, then what is trap? Trap is useless. And the managers, like besides major player, I feel like you don't necessarily need it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you no one had trap, I feel like everyone would get through the game just fine. So I hate doing this because I know you like trap. I guess not anymore.
Not
I'm
anymore
starting
after
to like
1.3.
trap is starting to build on me, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put it in eight
I,
as the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what you said, but I think there might be just one more gag track worse, in my opinion, just at the moment. Well,
Oh yeah, I feel like the two worst are pretty much non-debatable.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Now, we're going to go on to lore. This one's going to go two. I love lore just as much as anybody, but there's just one more gag track that I think belongs above it. I mean, lore, when it's prestige, it's great. I mean, it's great in general, but it's great. I mean, it's great sometimes when you get into those manager battles. Sometimes it's not that great, but I mean, the ability to keep the cogs from hitting you, and you get double or extra damage, especially now that class changed it to where it's exact damage. Shoot, you use a $50 bill, you get like 115 extra knockback. I just can't go wrong with that. I'm just putting it at number two. It could easily go into number one. I just think one more gag track's better, but definitely gonna put it at number two just because I like one more gag track more. And I think Chandler's gonna put it either one or two also. So
We obviously know where it's gonna go, and I just think lore is just a unique gag. I feel like there's nothing compared to it. Obviously, lore keeps the cogs at bay. That's amazing in itself. Like if you don't have lore, soloing stuff can be hard, and I am a guru for soloing stuff. I know lure tech is gone. I know people are bummed out about that because obviously lure would never miss in that case. You never needed single lures,
mm-hmm.
and now they don't have lure decay anymore. Obviously, the knockback is a flat value. They also changed the thing where if lure misses, the cog attacks won't be as severe. And I think if you combine lure and throw, well, damn, you are set.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't already guess, this is going in one for me. There's just nothing like it. Obviously, throw. I mean, you have a substitute for squirt. It's not as good for the purpose of throw, but it's there. I feel like you can't compare anything to lure. It's just that great of a gag.
Yep. Great, great, great points. Great points. Can't disagree. And just like I said, lore can easily fit into one. I love it just as much as anybody else. But that brings us to our next gag track, and that's throwing. I'm gonna put that in one. I just love prestige throw. Now that it heals you, it does massive damage. I just can't go wrong with throw. I always have throw anyway. You combine throw and lore. Shoot, honestly, they better just be the same gag track. But I love throw. I always use it. I don't like when anybody doesn't have it. Honestly, I usually don't go with anybody who doesn't have throw because it just hinders the team so much. And when you have prestige, the fact that it can heal you, most of the time, if you're in a battle, that throw heal is honestly enough because you're not going to take enough. You're not going to take a lot of damage in the first place if you're smart, at least. But I just put throw in the first spot because I just love it that much.
Okay, well, we basically swapped because I'm going to put throw at two. I agree with every point you said. I feel like if you don't have throw, it definitely hinders the team. And I know that was prevalent in the Oklo. If you had no throw, horrible. I haven't done an Oklo ever since 1.3. I know you have, so is throw that much better in the Oklo now? Because it was really good in pre 1.3. Like everyone need to have it.
Well,
But
so when I've done Oklos, it's really a mixed bag of gags. I've seen people use just zap strats. I've seen people do drop strats, but a lot of those drop strats are based off using throw, one throw, three drops. Oh, let me add to that to the throw point. I forgot the marked. When you use throw for mark, you get I believe it's 10% extra damage.
yep.
You combine that with squirt. It's a great combo for any gag following, especially drop. But yeah, no, it's really a mixed bag. I mean, like I said, I've seen people use zap strats, drop strats, throw strats. That's really it in Oklos.
Yeah, but to your point, it's so widely used. Like you can never go wrong with using throw in anything. Pace setter, perfect. Chainsaw, fine. Hell, even a level one on the street, just pull out the cupcake. Like it's prevalent throughout the entire game, and you just have to have it to make everyone like you. So I'm definitely gonna put this at number two for sure.
Agreed, agreed. Oh, next gag is squirt. No, the changes that Clash have made for squirt, they're nice. They're great, especially if you prestige it. It's really nice. Um, I think I'm going to move Tune Up down to number five and put Squirt into number four. Because like I said, Squirt is really nice right now. If you prestige it, both cogs next to it do half the damage that the normal gag does. So like if you use a hose, the two cogs next to it take 28 apiece. So you're basically doing 112 damage to the cogs, and that scales as you get more higher squirt, and you know I think it's really beneficial in solos, duos. I mean, obviously in everything, but you can definitely see the biggest benefits in duos. Like Chandler and I, we did we did the CFO and VP duo, and that prestige squirt it came in handy now. But I think the fact that it requires the prestige squirt puts it down to number four because if it's not prestige, you're not getting a lot of damage, and it's not going to really count too much. So I'll let you say what you got to say about it, Chandler.
Well, I'm also going to put it at four. And I mean, 25% non prestige is still good. I mean, it's minuscule, but I mean, it's something. It's better than giving you nothing. But I like just the utility it has. It can basically serve as a poor man's throw if you want to just squirt and do all that stuff with a lure. That's all nice. You can use squirt to set up drop. Obviously, it's you need a squirt for zap to work. So I just feel like the utility is just amazing, and you really can't go wrong. And if you're squirtless and also zapless, don't tell you I said so, but people are going to hate you. Look it up, Squirtless Zapless Club.
Mm-hmm.
Just have squirt, I guess.
Hey,
I don't get those people because at the beginning of the game you were squirtless and zapless.
yeah. It was
I
only
mean, I didn't have a
after
problem with you.
it was only after 1.3 when I couldn't go without one of those. So that's why I switched my like because I was always sweatless zapless. You couldn't tell me otherwise. But at the 1.3, just how good that combo kind of became, I couldn't not have one of them. So it's kind of
Yeah,
crucial
and
that
it's
you
kind of
have one of
yeah.
them.
I mean, it's kind of hard to hate now because still one of my favorite parts about the update is that you can refund your gags free of charge. You can
Yep.
add prestiges, you can get rid of them free of charge. So you can literally mix things up. So if someone's like, "Oh, we all have score and zap, and you don't have score and zap," you might want to put those on. Cool, you can do that. So,
Exactly.
yep, scored four.
And
I
X
100% agree
and
with you on
gag
that.
XP is like easier to come by more than ever, with all the gumball boosters, the Fridays club boosters.
The two times XP if you get through the two ranks. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I feel like one is from rank one to rank two, and the other one is 7 to 8. It's somewhere near the back half, but also take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
So I think it's
Oh
maximum like
yeah,
times 10, times
yeah.
11.
Mhm. You can get.
Yeah, there you go.
I believe in a six store you can get like times 11 XP. It's insane. Oh, and if you're training tune up too, you get like times 22 or something like that. Even easier.
Yeah,
Gags have
somewhere
never
around
been
there.
easier to
Incentivize
make
you not to
too.
be a selfish asshole.
Yeah, that's right.
I have no
But
room to talk, but I'm just saying.
we are going to move on to the next gag track. And wait a minute, I feel like I'm missing one. One, two. Oh, never mind. We are going on to Zap. Now, I like Zap, and I mean, I think all the gag tracks they obviously have a place. They're all great, but I'm just gonna have to put it in the eighth spot because
Ooh.
I mean it's hard because I just like trap a little bit more, but I mean they're equal for me, and since I put trap into seventh, it's hard. So I'm just gonna put it in eighth, pretend it's a seven because I just can't put it. I mean it's a me thing. I mean I think Zap is very good. It's just I think drop and sound are better than Zap, but I mean it's a great gag. It has great damage potential, especially when it's prestige. What is it? What does it do? Like 10% extra to the cogs that jump?
The jump, yeah, it's 110% instead of 90%
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the base value.
So I mean that prestige is nice. I mean, just Zap in general is it's they're all great gags. I don't think any gags really stretch out far from all the others besides Lauren Throw. I think Lauren Throw are in the best positions they've ever been for any gag track. But I just think Zap for me. I mean, we use a lot of Zap. You know what? I'm because we use a lot of Zap. I have to place Trap into eighth and Zap into seventh, just because. I mean, Zap it's great, but you still need Squirt to use for it. And I have Tune Up in fifth, and I feel like I use Tune Up more, and I just had to place Zap into seventh just because I don't think it belongs any higher, just in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that. I'm actually going to put it at five, surprisingly enough. And it's for a multitude of reasons. Well, when I solo stuff, really useful. It definitely makes things easier for me. And you just have to think about what is Zap now compared to what it was in the past. In the
Good point.
past, absolute mess. There were jumping mechanics. Everyone would get confused on what to do. There's like, oh, do slash X slash slash. Like, a random's not going to know what you are talking about. So it's just really hard to use.
Yeah,
But now
that's
it's
true.
simplified. You can't jump. It prioritizes left. It can't switch directions. And I was debating putting this below tuna, but ever since the buff, where they buffed Zap just a little bit,
Mm.
that's what kind of sold me on it. So I'm gonna put it at five. It's easier to communicate. I think I use it a lot. Um, and yeah, shocking you put it low, but like I get it. But I know most people are not gonna like your opinion. I respect the opinion. But just as it stands, I feel like Zap is useful in the early game. I know people like going score with Zap that, but you just have to think how often do you use it?
Yeah,
And
that's
I feel like
true.
throughout the entire game, you're going to be using it a lot more than drop, more than trap, which I thought those were going to be your two bottom feeders, but I guess not. So this one is going in five for me.
Yeah, I mean I'm not disagreeing with what you said. I do like the changes to the zap damage that Clash made. I think it's because I never used a lot of zap. You know, I was always squirtless, zapless. I mean, I hold zap now, but shoot, I don't use it much unless I'm playing with Chandler personally. So I think that's why I just hold that bias. I mean, it's a great gag. Don't get me wrong, but for me, it's just going to the seventh just for now. I
Yeah,
think.
no, I respect your opinion, but of course, people are going to get pissed at no matter where you put it.
Oh yeah, no
So I
doubt.
feel like Zap is definitely the most controversial gag to rank, if I'm being completely honest.
Mm-hmm. Because you got total Zap lovers who will probably put it in first. You got total Zap haters who will totally put it in eighth. Or shoot,
Dude, they
even
literally have a
definitely.
website related to you being squirtless and zapless.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Like you could cure cancer, but if you don't have squirt and zap and clash, then that ain't good enough, Chief.
So true. Everybody hates that. That's for
Oh, I
sure.
pissed so many people off for saying that.
So next, we're gonna move on to sound. Excuse me. I think it's clear where I'm gonna put it, and that is in the third
Same
spot.
here.
And Chandler's gonna put it there. I, I mean, sounds not nearly as broken as it used to be. I mean, the encore benefits. I think they really make sound really great. But the fact that you can get winded after using sound 2 times in a row, I'm not gonna put sound any higher than lure and throw. I mean, if sound was the way it is on TTR, then sure, it's obviously the most broken. But you know, TTR's a mess, and I'm glad that Clash fixed it. But I mean, sound it's great. The fact that you can hit multiple cogs with just one gag, uh, and you get that encore boost. And if you prestige it, it's 15%. You pair that with drop on a soaked marked cog, you get a lot of damage. Um, Before we were doing a chainsaw consultant, and my piano, well, this was paired with an IOU also, but it was like 547 damage. No, it was actually 580. It was on a marked soaked cog with encore, and that was only 5% encore. If that was 15%, it probably would have been over 600. But I just think throwing Laura in a much better position, since you can use them any round, but sound you can't because the wind did. But it's still in a good position. I think it's very balanced the way it is now.
So what you're trying to tell me now is you just assume I think sound is better than drop.
Well, you said me too.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Well, even if I didn't say that, it's obvious. Yeah, this is definitely in the third position. Obviously, they kind of nerfed it that you can't use it 2 times in a row, or your sound gags are 50% less effective, I think, for 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But all you really got to do is kind of like change up your moves. And honestly, the encore is kind of the motivation to do that. And then after that, just go back to sounding. And when you're on the cog facilities, has anything changed?
Nope.
You sound, cogs are gone. Don't have to worry about sound again getting winded because after the battle, all the effects are gone.
Exactly.
And obviously, people are like, well, you can just squirt and zap. You don't need sound. No, just no. Just please stop making that judgment. All right. You sound delusional saying that.
Yeah.
I think that sound will always hold a great place in corporate clash. Obviously, if this was rewritten, we already know that probably being number one because you use that gag about 90% of the time. But I think sound's in a great place. I wouldn't really change it. So I'm definitely going to put it in the third spot. I still think Lauren Throw is better,
Mm.
and we both agree with that, obviously. So I think three is a great position to put it in.
Yep. Certainly can't disagree. Now that brings us to just drop, and I'm gonna put it in the sixth spot, and obviously Chandler's in seventh. I think drop is a great gag. I mean, I don't go without it on either of my tunes. Whenever I'm doing just daily stuff in the game, some bosses I go without it, but or I guess managers I go without it sometimes. Um, it being prestige, it's great, but I think that there are just better gags because I mean most of the times you're honestly not going to use that massive drop damage in like 90% of situations you do unless you specifically only do managers. I mean if we're going just based off managers, I'm going to put this into the top 3 no doubt. But just daily average use, it's going to the sixth. You don't see it used much often in bosses. The only boss you really see it in used very often is the Oklo, but that's for obvious reasons because of big managers. But your daily use, you're not going to use drop or its massive benefits very often. So I think it belongs in sixth. It's in a great position where it is. I don't think it needs any more balancing. I think it's fine. I think six is a fair place to put it for daily use. Like I said, daily use. If it's manager specifically, it's going to top 3 just because that damage output is massive and it really propels the battle. Like I mentioned before, we were looking at a 580 damage piano with an IOU. So obviously the damage capabilities are there, but you're not going to use that in everyday situations unless you do managers daily.
Yeah, I'd agree. Too situational. That's what I call drop. A gag track that would shine lights and be the star of the show in some battles are totally just irrelevant in other areas. Like Oklo, star of the show. Like if you go throwless and dropless in the Oklo, rethink your decisions for one, because I've been with tunes that went throwless and dropless for the Oklo, kill me now.
Yep.
But when drop is the star of the show, my gosh, is it good. With the prestige, extremely good. A 15% damage boost to an already buff drop in 1.3. You mark him, it gets affected. You daze him, gets affected. And I'm just saying him as a general term, but you get the point. If you squirt, that boost is going to get added onto. And if you combine Encore, drop is extremely good.
Uh
And I
huh.
like how now all the drops are rolled individually. So you have five outcomes instead of two. Instead of it being all or nothing, you can have all of them hit, only three, only two, only one, or none of them.
Yep.
And I like that change.
Me too.
And you can take advantage of a trap to daze it, soak it, and you can cap off the accuracy at 96%. And at that point, you kind of bagging on it to hit at that point.
And basically,
So I know
if
I'm
you got a
praising
cheer,
drops so much, but yeah. And the cheer too. Oh yes,
a
the cheer
cheer,
is
a
awesome.
daze, and a soak,
I know
it's gonna hit.
yeah, I know I'm praising drop, but like, why did I put it at seven? It's just too situational. I feel like in the beginning of the game, like, do you need drop for a VP? No. Do you need it for a CFO? No. Do you need it for a CLO? Oh, you better fucking believe you don't need drop. You can literally get through basically near the early end portions of the game. Like the only time drop comes to light is in the really late managers. I guess all managers in general, it's useful, and the Oklo. I feel like in any other area,
But the
if you
Oklo's
didn't have drop, I
managers.
think you would be fine. Yeah, the managers are cool.
So
And
basically,
again, yeah,
so
all these guys are
basically,
great.
what we're saying is just if you do managers, top three easily. If you're not, which is your daily average player, bottom three, for sure.
All these guys have their place, and some are better than others in certain situations. That's why respecting your build every time you do something is important.
Hmm.
Like if you're going to do an Oklo and you're throwing and dropless, you might want to think, maybe I should get rid of something because I feel like throw and drop will really do something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I kind of feel like we had a really similar list. Obviously, I put Zap higher and put Lure higher. But besides that, I feel like our list was extremely similar,
Oh
which I
yeah,
kind of
basically.
expected.
Yeah, I mean, we basically play the same way all the time, so I expected our list to be pretty similar.
Except I lure almost every time.
Yeah, that's right. You're always usually the lore, but that's because your lore always hits. It's my drop though that always
I'm a green
hits.
cat. Yeah, green and green.
He greens me, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, green him in the chainsaw consultant. Good times.
Yeah, all the time, all the time. But yes, everybody, this is our gag tier list, and like I said, these dark ones are Chandler's, and these light ones are mine. So I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll try to get another tier list out to you guys. So take care,
Yeah,
everybody.
unmute Eddie, please. Yep.
Yes, please, Corporate Clash, give me the unmute, please. I beg. But yes, thank you everybody for watching, and let us know what your gag tier lists are. If you disagree, if you agree. So thank you for watching. Bye.